Hey everybody, Lenny Ghoul here, and today we're gonna continue playing Diablo 2 Resurrected, Reign of the Warlock, and we are on day 3, but it's been a weird day 3. I wanted to do a Summoner Druid for the League launch, and I did, but I fucked up in normal, and it took me forever to get through normal, and it was yesterday, and it was bad, and so blah. Today is a new day. We are in Nightmare. We're just gonna go from Nightmare on, and everything's been fixed. There was a skill that was like not working the way that I thought it used to work, and that doesn't matter. Point is, today is a new day. And we're gonna make this fucking thing work, because yesterday was like pretty good, and then it turned into a fucking disaster. And I need to get, like, we need to move through this. So today will be fine. And we're starting Nightmare, and everything's cool. And there he is. There's Matty the Druid. He's level 40. He kind of leveled up a little bit. We're in Nightmare. We're actually, to be perfectly fair, I did do the Den of Evil quest, and then I was like, why am I not streaming this? And so, like, now we're streaming. Greetings. But that's the only quest we've done so far. It's the Den of Evil quest. And I also I have points are gonna go to a different spot now. Like I've done this before, but it's been so long that I did it wrong, and I thought I confused this with something else that I tried to do a long time ago that probably didn't work, and that's why there was so much issue yesterday, and it led to like me having a bad time, and that was just not good. And I don't know, I had a little bit of a crash out yesterday, and I just want to throw that out there, and it was bad. And we're not doing that. We're having fun. And then later, we're gonna play some Blood Bowl, because I always play Blood Bowl on Sundays. We're gonna stream that. Blood Bowl 2, in fact. So if you're watching this on the YouTubes, that means that things went well. and perhaps you know, if you follow or whatever, you'll see if you like Blood Bowl 2 or want to see what the hell that's all about, you'll get that video shortly after this one. So the other thing that I've done, which I've never done before, and we'll see if I get totally dinged for it or not. I never stream with the in-game sound on. I do on stream, but I don't have it recorded to the VOD. Usually because I'm playing when I stream, I listen to music and stuff. And you can't do that. That'll fuck it up. But I'm figuring if this is gonna go on the YouTube, it would be nice if there was some fucking music when it, you know, some in-game music when it hits dead air, because a lot of the YouTubes that I upload that are VODs, they don't have game noise in them, and it's probably horrible to listen to, because it's just like dead air until I speak, and then like sometimes I don't speak for a while, and then it's just dead air. And that sucks, right? Nobody wants that. So we're gonna try to incorporate the game noises, and if I don't get sued by somebody or, you know, whatever, then we'll keep doing that. The issue that I had before was when I was running my music, I wasn't able to separate that to a different channel, so that I could that wasn't like the desktop audio fucking channel or whatever. And I have to be able to do that in order to listen to the music without it being recorded and going over to the VODs, and then, you know, me getting in deep shit for recording music. So until I figure that out, we're probably gonna just hold off on the streams with non-in-game music. Anyway, what are we doing? Okay, Cold Plains. So we need to go to Blood Raven. Technically, if I'm blazing through, I don't even need that. I'm pretty fucking far behind to be blazing anything at this point. Being that it's like the beginning of day 3. And I've already seen, like, I was looking at the ladder, I was checking out like Mr. Llama and Cooley streams. Yeah, those motherfuckers are already in the 90s. Like, there's no way I'm catching it. There's no way. But, you know, I don't usually do the ladder for the race anyway. Although it is kind of nice if you get ahead and you get your name up in like top 50 once in a while. That's kind of cool. It's rare. It's easier as a summoner druid, I think, probably right now, since everyone's playing Warlock. But that doesn't mean it's easy by any stretch, because there's still going to be a lot of people doing it. And I'm not a spring chicken anymore, so I can't. There's part of the frustration that is when I do some of the streams is I used to be able to play games, you know, 2 or 3 days straight without sleep, especially this game. When I'd crack out on, you know, grinding, you know, whatever, like Mephisto runs when I was in the 20s. And, you know, that doesn't fucking happen no more. And I'm like, if I get through 4 or 5 hours, I'm doing good. That's just an age thing. As well as many others. But I do what I can. Keep trying. But when you sleep more than you play, you can't really catch up. It's definitely a young game, a young man's game, sport, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, we used to crack out every weekend. Like that was the thing. You just didn't sleep on the weekend ever. Because back in the day, we had LAN parties and all kinds of things happening. So like, you know, get like 10 smelly dudes in a fucking 1-bedroom apartment with like computers everywhere and many 12 packs of soda and assorted bags of, you know, Sonic and Jack in the Box. And smoke. Everybody smoked back then. Oh god. You open that door and it's like they might call the fire department. There's just so much smoke billowing out of the fucking place. It was hard to breathe sometimes. But you know, those were the days, man. And it wasn't like just Diablo. We actually didn't play that much Diablo back then. Like I did on my own, but the LAN party days were usually like, you know, Rainbow Six, Rogue Spear, early Battlefield 1942, shit like that. GTA Vice City, although you didn't really land part of that, but we would still just play it, like everybody would play it on their own in the same house, you know, just weird shit. But there's other stuff. Unreal Tournament, we played a lot of Unreal Tournament. A lot of Rogue Spear. I think mostly what we played was which is Rainbow Six too. It was like the first, like, because there was so many fucking mods for that shit. It was amazing. And we had them all. Like, we were just like everything. Those were good times. But yeah, and you know, whatever else we fucking played. We played all kinds of shit. But yeah, like it was just, you know, you show up on Friday night with some groceries and, you know, lots of soda, whatever you were gonna fucking eat, and you know, basically crack out until Sunday night. No one's sleeping. I mean, we didn't, you know, we'd take breaks. Like, oh, let's go to, you know, let's go to Denny's for a couple hours, you know, or, you know, do some Jack in the Box runs or some Sonic runs or whatever. Good times were had. We did play a fair bit of Diablo. That was actually Age of Empires. We played a lot of Age of Empires too. We did a lot of Age of Empires. That was a lot. That used to fuck everybody up and make it pissed off. They started incorporating the rules. This is before. I don't believe the game had the timer back in the day, but I do know the current version does, because I own the current version of Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition with all the stuff. And I think something they added to the Definitive Edition was the timer, because if there was a timer, they would have like forced it on me. But when we used to play Age of Empires 2, I would piss everybody off. Why am I in the crypt? Oh, I'm just looking at shit. See, this is what happens when I get talking and I don't even realize what I'm doing. I mean, it's not bad being down here. There's just no objectives down here. It's just loot. Anyway. Where was I? Oh, so we play Age of Empires 2. And then, when I played by myself, like at home, when I played on Age of Empires, I'd like to play where like I didn't like the rush game, you know, like I like to be able to build up like a big old fucking like base or whatever, and then like defend it, like, you know, all the invaders that would come the whole time, and then eventually build it up, and then like build my army up while my base was defending everything, and then go in and dominate. And it would take like several hours to do that. Like, that was a fun way to play Age of Empires 2. And I tried to play StarCraft like that too, and it's really hard to play StarCraft like that, because both these games are actually meant to be played in about an hour or under, and you're supposed to just like crack out and like build as fast as you can and go in and conquer the other guy before they conquer you. But when we played on LAN, everybody else wanted to do that, because we would all play each other. Everybody else wanted to do that, where like they wanted to build the base and then eventually attack. when everybody was ready, like wanted to, like that. The idea wasn't when everybody was ready at first, but the idea was just like why are you coming after me right in the beginning? Like I just want to build my base and then like have fun, and then eventually I'll attack you with stuff. And I was the guy that was like sending in the fucking, you know, the scout like right away into the fucking thing, killing their villagers or their like wood choppers or whatever. Like I was the asshole that was like doing all the early raids, and then he used to get so mad at me. And so they implemented a rule: nobody can attack until like for like 45 minutes. I was like, dude, that sucks. Because I kept harassing everybody like a terrorist, and but that was fun. And then what I would do, so then they were like, I was like, okay, so then what I would do is I would start scouting out all the locations of like all the rest of the resources and start building little mini bases all over there, just to start mining all the resources all over the map early, so that they were spending 45 minutes building up my base, and I was spending 45 minutes stealing all the resources. So when they ran out, they had nowhere to go. I was like, yeah. So again, right? You know, how stories were had. So at some point we stopped playing that as much because I kept being like all the time. Fucked up terror shit. And then the other thing we played, now that I'm thinking about terror shit, the other thing we played a lot of, and I have it, and I want to play it on stream, and I don't know why I haven't yet. I think I have to set something. Oh, I think it doesn't stream well. I don't remember what it is, because you have to use some other client. But Command and Conquer, right? There was a game called Command and Conquer Generals, and it had a mod called 0 Hour, or it wasn't a mod, it was an expansion pack called 0 Hour. My favorite Command and Conquer, all time. So good. The problem is, it like for some reason there's you have to, in order to get it to work well, you have to download some third-party thing now, the launcher, and it actually like lets you set up like for like current PC settings so that it doesn't look like shit and it actually works and doesn't crash all the time. It's like a community patch kind of thing. So we would play that as well, and the reason why I bring that up is that game, you could play as terrorists. It was like the only game. And then this was like, you know, shortly after 9/11. It's like, you know, and I think they actually made it like right before 9/11, and then it just so happened that like Middle East terrorists were in the, I think it was because they designed it because of like Iraq, like Desert Storm, and Iraq was saber rattling a lot, and there was a lot of Middle Eastern terrorism going on in the Middle East. But there wasn't, and there was like, it was right around when all that shit was popping off, but 9/11 hadn't happened yet. I think when they developed the game. And so they have, it's called the GLA, but they're terrorists, the Global Liberation Army or something. But it's full on, it's Middle Eastern terrorists. And it's the only game that I've ever seen that where you're allowed to play that. And of course I did. And everybody else is like, how could you possibly play that? Oh, that's, you know, we're gonna be USA, and then there's China, and someone's like, well, I'll be China. And I'm like, okay, but like, what's wrong with me playing the Middle East? It's a game, dude. You know? And so in that game, and dude, you could do some fun shit in there as the terrorist. So I got to play as that, and I was the only one that ever played that, and everybody else played either China or was it China or Russia? I think it's China. Yeah, it's Middle Eastern terrorists. So it's GLA, China, and America. I think are the three teams on that. I believe. Anyway. So that game didn't have a time limit. And they used to try to roll in the tanks on me all the time, and I was good at commanding generals. And I would always build up to arm the mob and invade all the time. They had these, like, you could build like suicide bombers and Scud missile launchers, and they had these biological weapon tanks that would shoot biological weapons and stuff, like this, like, you know, nerve gas or whatever, this like toxic fucking, like, probably anthrax or something, I don't know. This is some fucked up shit, dude. And you go in and you could make tunnels. So you could, like, tunnel into someone's base and they'd never know behind it. And then you have a stealth suicide bomber. And, like, he only shows himself when he starts, like, running to attack the base or whatever that he's gonna suicide bomb. And so you'd have, like, all these guys around, like, their power plant, and you'd be like, la la la, and boom, and blow the whole fucking. It was just so good, dude. That game is so fun. And you know, it's like everyone get pissed off, dude. What the fuck? And they roll their tanks in and fuck you up. But it's a really fun game, and I'm gonna stream it one of these fucking days. I think I might have done it once. I don't remember. Or I tried to and it didn't work. I don't remember why I don't stream that. But I need to brush up on that and play that again, because that was a lot of fun. You know what? I realized that I found a thing and I didn't see what it did. Hold on. I know what it is, but I'm trying to remember if it's even going to help me at all. Plus strength, plus energy. Nope, not even remotely plus. Okay. But anyway, yeah, land parties. Land parties, so fucking cool. And a lot of, like, there people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about still to this day because it was so long ago. But, like, it would be the equivalent of playing on the internet, like a multiplayer game, like Call of Duty. Instead of everybody being at their own house. Hold on, I guess. Excuse me. Instead of everybody being at their own house, everybody would meet at somebody else's house. You could play games over the internet back then, but it was like not very good because the internet connections up until maybe like the early to mid 2000s were shitty, and a lot of people still had like either high speed dial-up or, like, you know, fiber was just barely kicking in, but it wasn't ready for prime time. DSL, I guess was part of that. Like, I don't know. It was kind of slow, and it was kind of clunky. And a lot of people still had landlines on their phone, and they would use, like, they would connect to a landline if they didn't have any kind of tool thing, if they were doing the budget thing. And, you know, you have to use like a 56K modem and a fucking landline, you know, and if you're playing a game and someone picks up the phone and makes a phone call and kicks you off the game, it drops your connection to the internet, and then you're fucked. You know, there's a lot of messy stuff about that. So, but networking was pretty fucking reliable, local area network LAN, and used TCP/IP was the protocol that you would use to connect all of the computers in the same place together, and you get a hub, and then a whole bunch of, you know, internet cables, whole bunch of Cat5 cables, and then you plug them into the back of your computer, plug them into your hub. Somebody was the host, and everybody would point their computers at the host IP the host local IP, and then that was it. And then we'd all connect and play, and that's how you played. That's just how it worked, and it was pretty fucking easy. It seems a little complicated, like if you've never done it, right? Because you're a little like younger. It seems like a lot of stuff, but it really wasn't that bad. I mean, because, you know, everyone's connected now. Your computer's always connected to the internet now, right? And your phone and everything. So you don't think about having to connect to the internet because you're already there. But, like, you know, it wasn't always like that. You would physically connect your shit to the internet. Or to other computers, and because of that, you had those options in the game. The games weren't defaulting you to the internet. You didn't have to be connected to the internet to play the game. Like, that just wasn't a thing. And Steam didn't come out until Half-Life 2, so you know, it was still, even that aspect of it wasn't. And even Steam back then didn't require you to connect to the, like, you had to connect to the internet to get the game, to download it, but you can set it without being on Steam in your local settings. Back then, you could connect, you could set it to offline mode, so you didn't connect to Steam automatically when you launched your game. It just launched your game. But it was like, you know, that changed at some point, right, with a lot of games, and then every game became, well, you need to log in to the game even if it has a single player mode. This game used to also be a game you could play on LAN parties, because this game, and it doesn't, the D2R, the big downside to the D2R is it doesn't have the D2R. It doesn't have the LAN settings in it. The original does. You connect to Battle.net with a button, or LAN/modem. Like, there was like different settings for multiplayer, and you know, you didn't have to connect to play. D2R you can still play offline, but you have to connect it to Battle.net to download it and get into the upload. You have to still use the Battle.net launcher even if you don't have an internet connection currently available. And I found this out because my internet actually lost internet for almost a month. I thought I was going to die. It was like the worst experience ever. Recently, maybe it was like a year ago, and that was fucking horrible. And so not being able to connect to the internet was like insane, and one of the only games I could play was this. Because even D2R, you have to use the Battle.net launcher, but what happens is when it doesn't, when you launch the game, it tries to connect to Battle.net, and it doesn't, it still lets you play the game, but then it still tries to connect to Battle.net every time you log out and try to log back as a new character or whatever. But it will let you play, it has the offline tab, and it will let you play that without being connected to the internet. But again, unfortunately, if you want to play offline and not be connected, like when I play offline, there's no interruption because it's still actually online. When you do things, you're still making checks. It's still every time I quit and make a new game, it's still actually probing Battle.net or something. But when you're not actually connected, what happens is when you play offline and you quit a game and you make a new game, you actually have to choose for it to try to connect to Battle.net. And then it doesn't, and then it lets you go ahead and log in. Or not log in, and then it makes the game play. Which is really fucking annoying, by the way. Like, if you're on offline mode, it shouldn't ever touch Battle.net. But it does, and I know that because when you actually don't have an internet connection connected, it doesn't work the same way as if you have an internet connection connected, but play offline. Like if I play in offline mode, I don't notice the difference. It's still totally fine if I'm connected. But if I'm not connected, it's totally different. But you can still play it. But I just think that's kind of stupid. I mean, that's the way it is. Like, why are you, even if I'm in offline mode, why are you trying to connect to that one? Just don't. Anyway. But yes, even Diablo 2 used the LAN party back in the day and connect. Diablo 1, when I first played Diablo 1, I played LAN, actually I played over modem. Direct connect over modem to a friend without using that. I could connect to his actual IP address. And not his internal IP address via LAN, but like I could use my dial-up modem. His was on, ready to receive, you know, a signal, and my dial-up modem would send a signal to his dial-up modem, and then we would play together on Diablo 1. It was online, but it was off Battle.net. Crazy they can't do that anymore. Actually, Doom 2 we used to play like that a lot. Doom 2 had that where you would just we would play each other, like me and a friend would play, not over the internet, just connected to his computer through a modem. You could technically say it was through the internet because you have to have an ISP in order to dial out to somebody. Dial in. I guess maybe not. I don't know. And now thinking about it, I think it probably was more of a BBS kind of situation. I don't know really, because we didn't dial into anything. We just went directly to his computer from my computer. It's not TCP. What is that? Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe it is. I don't remember what it is. I'm so old. It's so long ago. I have no idea. And this was like 95, 94 when we were doing this kind of shit. Like, I think it was 96. Whenever fucking Doom was out. What am I looking for? Where am I? I'm in the stony field. I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm assuming, okay, there is the waypoint. We need to find the cave. I see the cave. Dude, this is what happens when I ramble. I ramble and then I wander. Because I'm rambling. My character's like, okay, we're just taking our sweet ass time. Anyway, let's see. Boom. So what we're doing, Bear, what? Yep. So we're still a summoner, but the cool thing about being a summoner is that you can summon stuff in form. And you might ask, oh, that's cool, but like, what's the point of that? Well, as a burr, you get 100% more life. You get, I think, and then more defense, which is really helpful. But also, we're going to be taking a skill. We're going to be taking Shockwave, and Shockwave will stun enemies. And this is what I was missing from when I was playing yesterday. When I was playing as the Vine guy, and I kept complaining. I was like, "There's something missing. Like, there's no way to lock down like the monsters or whatever. Like, what, you know?" Because I couldn't remember how I did that. That was another part of it. Shockwave will stun everything while you're testing. Fucking weird. it's a little mana heavy, but it's not crazy. It's not unreasonable. It's just a more active playstyle. So you still have to keep your guys summoned and topped off. But you use Shockwave, and then so here's the trade-off. If I use Shockwave, my merc probably has to use Insight. And if he uses Insight, that means he doesn't get to use Hustle. And if he doesn't get to use Hustle, then we don't get Fanaticism. But he's still gonna take Might, and we're probably gonna, at some point, I'd like to give him Bramble. And that will give us all Thorns. So everything will take Thorns damage when they hit us. And we'll still have the Might Aura. And I might be able, if I take, there's some rumor that gives me, one-handed weapon. Is it Beast? I think it's Beast. And that allows me to get a Fanaticism. Which is okay. I'm gonna try to do the Shockwave without having my guy use Fanaticism, because honestly, or not Fanaticism, without him using Insight, because Insight gives meditation. But honestly, if I can pull it off, that extra Fanaticism is going to help. It's going to add to the damage a lot. Because the one thing that these guys, the one thing about the Summoner Druids is they're kind of weak in health. Now, the good news is because I'm on BattleNet, I'm not going to be playing Players 8. Right? When I don't play on BattleNet, I'm playing Players 8 a lot. Or, elevating players. And then the Summoner Druid is not as good because, it's a little too calm for the summons. But in Players 1, it's not really a problem. Even on the elevated, on the elevated levels with the Terrorism and stuff, it's not as bad. So because we're playing online ladder BattleNet, I think, because there is no, if I want to play something, I'm going to have to, alert the game from somebody else. And I really have no interest in playing the game anymore. I did that for a long time. I don't like dealing with people. I don't like waiting for people. I don't like that. If I want to fucking do my thing, I want to do my thing. Because I don't feel like cooperating with them. I've done that, and that was fun for a while, but everybody else does their own thing, and nobody wants to cooperate with me. It just becomes one of those situations where, the most selfish guy wins and everybody else gets fucked. And I just kind of prefer not to play like that at all anymore. Because it's been a long time. And you don't have to worry about, the other thing I'm not going to do, which is probably going to take me a lot longer, is I'm not trading. Because I'm not doing D2 JSP, I'm not doing Forum Gold, I'm not doing any of that bullshit. And there is no good trade mechanism. There's no auction house or trade thing. Although it would be nice if they did actually put a gold auction house. People are automatically do not put an auction house in Diablo because the Diablo 3 auction house fucked things up. But that's only because they were trying to make it a pay thing. The gold auction house in Diablo 3 wasn't a problem at all. The one where you use gold to trade things. If they had a gold auction house in Diablo 2, that would be fine. Because they're adding to this game, obviously. We're not going to be purist game anymore, right? we have the Warlock, and then they're talking about adding another act. Just more shit to buy, probably. But if they do, they might as well put a fucking auction house in there, because the most annoying thing in the world is having to do some kind of like third-party foreign bullshit, or just trading in the open with people, because you always get scammed. Always get scammed. You are going to get scammed unless you know the person. Most of the time. It's just the way it is. Unless you use the forum, the D2 JSP or whatever that is, it's been around for literally ever, that I've never fucking used, because I just don't want to fucking deal with it. I'd rather just not trade. Now, we used to trade on Battle.net back in the salad days, you know, and we would be able to, you know, we probably got fucked like 10% of the time. But it wasn't a big deal, because most of the shit was goofy. You know, like everybody's shit was goofy. There was a billion dupe SOJs, and everybody traded for SOJs. SOJs were the currency. And they were duped into fucking oblivion. Which is why they actually created Diablo 2 clone. Because the original D2 clone event, a random number of Stones of Jordan had to be sold to person in order for Diablo clone to spawn. It was like basically really Diablo before the and in Hell mode, after the seed number of random, like it would roll a random seed each time on the realm. Either the realm or the server. I think it originally was server wide. And if you happen to be on the same server, no, it was realm. It was realm. It was US West, US East. I think it was realm. I have to look it up. I don't remember. So don't quote me. Don't hold it to me. I mean, like, you know, don't yell at me if I'm wrong. Okay. But on either the realm or the server, what would happen is, after he was defeated, a new seed would be put in, and after so many, whatever the RNG number that it had stepped, number of Stones of Jordan were sold to churches on that realm, it would spawn Diablo clone in every single person's game that was in Hell mode on that realm or that server, whichever it was. And then it would spawn at the closest super unique monster to where you were at the time in the game. So if I was in the stony field, like, most likely Rocket Nation would turn into Diablo, right? Like, that's kind of how it worked. Or if I was in the frigid highlands, like, Shank would turn into Diablo. Like, that's how it worked. And then you would just, and the thing is, Diablo clone was immune to everything. He was like, I think he was either 95% resistant to everything, or he was 100% immune to everything. But you could break his immunities with, like, frozen orb, or not frozen, just like masteries, like cold mastery breaks immunities. And there was different items that would break immunities that you could use. Also amplify damage is really good. At breaking immunities. And lower resist broken immunity. But the best thing in this that you found out later was crushing blow doesn't do fuck. It's not an actual damage type. It's just something that triggers, and if it does, it takes a percentage of life away from the monster every time it hits. So what you would do is you would get a paladin with smite, which is a shitty skill that does no fucking damage. It does a little bit of damage. And you would put smite on, and then you would equip your paladin with a whole bunch of crushing blow, and then you'd go kill D2 that way really fast. You kill him in seconds because your smite was like really fast. It was like ba 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 ba. Like you hit really fast with smite. And you had crushing blow, so you were, and crushing blow wasn't 100% chance, but it was really, you could get it pretty close. And so if you were hitting enough times, you would crushing blow faster than you could heal. And that's how you beat Diablo clone. You still can beat him. But yeah, and then you drop like the Hellfire Torch or the Annihilus Charm, one or the other, I don't remember. I think it was the Hellfire Torch. Right? No, it was the Annihilus Charm, wasn't it? The Hellfire Torch is from... No, now I'm confused. It's one or the other. It's either the Hellfire Torch or the Annihilus Charm. One is Diablo clone and one is Uber Torch. I do not remember the life of which is which. But one of those is the thing that you get, and it was cool. And the shitty part about that is that you could only have one per on your character at any time. So if you already had one and he dropped one, you have to throw yours on the ground in order to pick up the new one to see if it was better than the one you had. The last time you've seen anybody do that. Everybody just ignores it and like spams the stones, which I'm still gonna do, by the way. Anyway, yeah, so what would happen is if you found the clone in a game, you didn't want to throw your charm on the ground to get a better one, or whichever the torch, whatever the fuck it was. You didn't want to throw yours on the ground to pick up the other one because you didn't know if it was better or not, if there was somebody around you. Because if you threw yours on the ground and they didn't have one, they would take yours. And then good luck getting that back. And the same thing with Geed's Fortune. If you're playing in a party and you have Geed's Fortune, you have to throw it on the ground to pick up the other one. And if you throw yours on the ground, you can take it. And if you have it in your inventory, you can't pick it up. Geed's Fortune is a unique charm that gives you like better vendor prices and some magic find, and I think some resist. I don't quite remember. It's a really good charm. But yeah, so you know, that's the old days. I don't even know why I started talking about Diablo clone, but whatever. Who knows why I do the things that I do, or say the things that I say? I certainly don't.
Deckard Cain, leave this place.
Leave this place immediately. Where's Wolf? What can I do for you? He's saying Diablo 1. He's the blacksmith from Diablo 1. Say, hey, what can I do for you? And then he would sell you all kinds of cool shit. But you never had a stash in Diablo 1. Imagine that. That's how crazy Diablo 1 was. There was no stash. This was it. You had an inventory. And items took up 4 slots. Some items took up 3 slots. Some took 2, some took 1. But either there were items that took up like 4 slots. And you was like, wait, what? Yeah. What do I do with my shit? Well, you just need to make choices at that point. Do I keep the shit or do I throw the shit away? Because you're not wearing it, it's going in your inventory because you're making it back. People would throw it on the ground in their single player games as long as they didn't quit the game. You could throw something on the ground in town, it wouldn't go anywhere. I'm gonna eat this brownie. But yeah, Diablo 1 was a fun game. I was kind of hoping they would remake it. With our Blizzard 30th anniversary, whatever the fuck it is. 35th. I don't know, something. They're doing all this anniversary shit. I want like Diablo 1 Resurrected. With Hellfire.
Greetings.
Some people didn't like Hellfire. It got a bad rap. I thought it was pretty good.
Utter regret.
It wasn't as bad as everybody thought it was. It actually added more areas to the game. That some of which were ended up being in Diablo 2. There was kind of a durance of hate. And sort of situation. And there was this maggot layer, which is very much like the maggot layer in Diablo 2. It sucked. But it also had code for characters that were locked that you could unlock in the it's like an INI file or something. There was a barbarian in Diablo 1. I think it was in Hellfire. Well, okay. Diablo 1, you could play a warrior, a rogue, or a sorcerer. And then Hellfire, you could play a monk, which is pretty dope. And then somewhere between the two games, there's some INI code. You just had to enable it. You could play a barbarian, a bard, and I don't remember what the third one was. Was it a cleric? I know I played the barbarian. Kind of sucked. Diablo 1 secret classes. The bard and the barbarian. I guess there was 2. There wasn't 3. It was the command dot text. It was in the Hellfire expansion. Okay. I'm eating a brownie, sorry. You hear me chomping. So, yeah. You could play them and they worked, but they were called untested characters. I don't know why they were considered untested characters. They fucking work. They weren't great. They probably weren't balanced enough. But it was cool because it was something new. It was something you hadn't seen before, you know? Anyway, that game was great. And it also, it had runes, but they were completely different. Runes were actually more like traps. Runes were items that you would throw on the ground, and then the monsters would get near them and it would set off a spell. And then they had scrolls and spell books, which they had in Diablo 1. I'm trying to think of what... They had different potions. Hellfire. I think they had a couple more unique items, maybe. They had more item types. But the weird thing is that they try to pretend that Hellfire wasn't an official expansion because it was created by Sierra Games. But here's the kicker that nobody tells you when they say that. Sierra was owned by Blizzard. So, like, what the fuck, man? The same fucking company owns both of them. Like, you know, how is it not official? It wasn't Blizzard North. But so what? Blizzard North is still Blizzard. Sierra was also Blizzard. I liked it too, and I know that, like, you know, people get butthurt. Maybe David Brevett didn't get to work on Hellfire. Maybe that was it. Like, they didn't consider it a studio. You know, and that's fine. I can understand that kind of shit. You know, because I respect the guy as a developer. At the same time, it's not about that, right? It's about fun. I enjoyed playing it. It was made by the same technical company that made the first one. Just because the same developer didn't get to make it, or maybe he worked on it a little. I don't know what his involvement, if any, was in Hellfire. I don't think it was on that. Because I think that we're working on Diablo 2 at that point. But it was awesome. And again, things that were in Hellfire ended up in Diablo 2. So, like, you know, to say that it's not even official is also kind of shit. Because, like I said, the Barbarian was, like, tested in there. And the Barbarian in its first appearance officially was in Diablo 2. But it was in Hellfire. And the Maggot Lair officially, well, unofficially because it's in Hellfire, the Maggot Lair was in, you know, Hellfire, and runes were in Hellfire, and like there's a lot of things that were in there that ended up being converted or spilling over. The different potion types. You know how we have throwing potions and stuff like that in Diablo 2 that nobody fucking uses ever? Like, I think those were in Hellfire. And Hellfire came out, like, not that long before Diablo 2. So, I mean, there was some crossover. There had, even though they said there wasn't, it's like... Let me see that. Let me even just make sure I'm not talking shit. Diablo 1 Hellfire. expansion. Hellfire, often called Diablo Hellfire, is an expansion pack for the video game Diablo. Well, gee, why do you think it's often called Diablo Hellfire? Because it is an expansion for Diablo. 1997. So actually, it came out pretty shortly after Diablo 1. So like a year. It says that Synergistic Blizzard developed it, but Sierra published it. Oh, Synergistic, a Sierra division, and published by Sierra Online in 1997. But Synergistic was owned by Blizzard, so that's great. Published by Sierra Entertainment. Curious Diablo. And Matt Ullman worked on it. So, you know. What are you gonna do? But yeah, it was really controversial because like everybody was being curious about it because it wasn't created. It wasn't like it wasn't called like Blizzard. It said Sierra on it, and I think that's what fucked everybody up. I don't know. I honestly don't know why people don't consider it part of the official thing, because it totally was, man. And what happened, right? Oh, well, there was a monk in there. Well, when did the monk make its appearance? The monk made an appearance in Diablo 3. And monks were part of the Diablo lore. They just weren't in the Diablo 2 game. They were in Hellfire. You know it's not in Diablo? In any of the Diablos except Diablo 1?
I am overburdened.
Warrior. Why isn't there a warrior class in any of the Diablos? It's in Diablo 1. And they're like, well, you have the barbarian. Yeah, but why can't you have the barbarian be different? And they're like, well, you have the paladin. Again, same question. The paladin is not a warrior. The paladin is a holy. It uses a lot of magic and auras. Damage. There is you can do a physical damage paladin, but it is not a warrior in the way that a warrior is. So I don't know. The whole thing was just. It's just weird the way we look at things in the gaming world, and a lot of it has to do with people's pride and ego and whims. But I am like probably the only staunch defender of Hellfire on the planet, because I fucking enjoyed it and I didn't give a fuck what anybody says. It was fun. And that's also what helped, like, spawn the cow level, that there was a cow level in the game, because there was a dude that you clicked on who was wearing like a cow suit or something. I don't remember what he was wearing a brown suit, like a leather suit or something. I don't remember what the whole thing. And if you click on him a whole bunch of times, eventually he would say something different. Like after it was like a random number of times, he would say, he's basically the chat gem is what he was of Diablo 1, which by the way, something else that got carried over was like that he was the chat gem of Diablo 1. People don't understand what that is because people don't know what the chat gem was. They saw it in a game and they thought it did things that they didn't know what it actually did. Breaking news, it didn't do anything. I'm sure you figured that out by now. I was actually told what it did. I'm one of the few people who are, honestly, that was actually told what the purpose of the chat gym was, and I was insanely let down by it. A developer slash forum moderator who shall remain nameless, whose name rhymes with Nibu, at the time had a different name, and told me exactly what it did. Its purpose is it's kind of a MacGuffin. The whole point of the chat gem is for you to click on it until it says perfect gem activated, and then for you to freak out like you did something, and then speculate wildly as to what it does. And even today, Breverick will tell you that he still sometimes says, I can't tell you what it did, but I can tell you that it worked perfectly. That's the line that they were supposed to give out. It was put in to add speculation and to make people think there was something there. Just because to fuck with people, because they could. And that's exactly what the guy wearing the cow suit in Hellfire was. He did the exact same thing. You clicked on him a bunch of times and eventually he would say something different. I don't remember what the line was. And then like people would freak out like they thought they found something, and then they speculated that was connected to somehow creating a secret cow level in Diablo 1, which never existed. And then which led to them actually making a secret cow level in Diablo 2, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. And then Diablo 3 was like, oh yeah? Well, we're gonna have a rainbow bright fucking pony level. Like My Pretty Pony Rainbow Bright level. And then they also put a cow level. And then they put a hidden goblin vault. They put all kinds of crazy shit in Diablo 3. I'm eating some cheeses. I know I eat a lot, sorry. It happens. We get hungry at late night. They aren't the quietest snacks, but I'm addicted to Cheez-Its. I don't know what happened. I think it's something to do with my grandma passing. I don't know, it sounds really macabre, but my grandma passed in December. And she was a huge Cheez-It fan. She loved Cheez-Its. But I'd never really liked Cheez-Its. I was a big fan of the goldfish. You know, the cheddar goldfish. And to this day. But after she passed, and that wasn't, I'm only thinking about this in retrospect because I didn't think about it until somebody mentioned something. But like, sometime after she passed, like, I went grocery shopping and I saw Cheez-Its and I'm like, dude, I haven't had Cheez-Its in a long time. And they were on sale. Well, I bought some. And I'm like, holy shit, these are good. Like, I don't remember them being this good. And I'm totally addicted to them now. I eat them all the time, which is bad, but they're fucking good. They're like crack. And then someone mentioned, well, do you think that maybe it's some kind of like survivor's guilt or some like weird, like, it's not even that, right? It's just some kind of weird, like, your grandma died, she was a big Cheez-It fan, you weren't, now you love Cheez-Its. It could be. It's kind of weird like that. Like, you know, it's kind of creepy. Anyway, I have this, and do I have insight? I don't think I do. Ital Thol or Am. No, that's a spirit. What is insight? It's Ralphol ist. No, it's Ralphol. Let's Diablo 2 runewords. Insight. Ral Tier Tal Sol. Ooh, I can make this. I have a Ral. I have a Tier. I have a Tal. And I have a Soul. Search a soul. Wait. I seek a soul in search of answers. Seek a soul in search of answers. That's what Akara the Witch used to say. Or Adria the Witch. Diablo 1. Since we're talking about Diablo 1. I seek a soul in search of answers. I believe that's what she uses. Alright, so let's make sure that I don't fuck this up. It's not a big deal, it's just insight, but hey man, I'm on BattleNet. I don't have any fucking twink characters. This is all I got. Rail Tier Tal Soul. Rail Tier Tal Soul. Okay. Rail Tier Tal Soul. Alright. Now I can stop using Malice.
I'll put that to good use.
And now the crazy thing is, because he's still running prayer, I think it stacks with meditation, and we're getting like super rejuve for a while until we put might on him. All right, so now let's go back to the marsh. Back to the marsh. You will do what I say. What I say. Back to the marsh. Sorry. Tell a good joke. So you know what? I need a belt. Why am I wearing this fucking belt? What the hell is wrong with me? I'm not even wearing a plated belt. All right, we're gonna have to fix that. When we're done with this tower, we're gonna go. We're gonna gamble some clothes. I got bear form. This is still a part of the transition of unfucking my shit that I had built previous. Not only do I have a bear, I am a bear. And then I'm going to take Shockwave. Now, interestingly, a long time ago, Shockwave, there was a short period of time that they eventually nerfed. Shockwave did a lot of damage. It was a bug. We don't have it yet. We're going to be taking it soon. Shockwave was supposed to just do kind of minimal damage. It was just mainly there to stun everything for a long time. But Shockwave used to do a lot of, like, there was some, I don't remember what the bug was. I think it stacked, it erroneous, like there was a bug that was unintentional, that it got a hidden synergy with something else. It stacked with it, and then you would end up doing a fuckload of damage with Shockwave. And then people made like Shockwave builds like for a while. The entire, it was just, you were a bear and you cast Shockwave. That was such a you didn't even need summons and shit. You were just running around casting Shockwave. Like a crier barb or whatever. You know, like there's the war cry barb. Like, ooh, a singer barb. That would be so fun. I should make a singer barb. I don't know. Maybe. I have to think about this now. Maybe I will make a singer barb. The problem with barbarians is no matter what you do, unless you're making a frenzy barb, it sucks to level them up until they hit level 30, because that's when you usually get your money skill, which ends up being rolling for a while or something. Like you don't get to start off with a good build. You get to start off with a build that has to literally hit every single monster with every single click of the mouse multiple times. Which, you know, welcome to gaming, right? But if you're kind of old, like those builds, they fuck your hands up, man. They cause RSI issues and they're just not fun. But once you get like, you know, beyond it, where you can AoE things with your war cry, it's not so bad because you don't have to click it on every single monster. You can just generally click it. It has the AoE. So there's something the Warlock can't do. I found it somewhere. Because a Warlock can do just about everything that every other class can do, but it does it better. Except what's up, Odin? You are first. I think everyone's avoiding me because of the insanity yesterday. But I fixed all that. I fixed my build. It works better now. It does the things. I had an issue yesterday. Most of the game day was pretty fun, and then I ran into some really weird roadblocks that frustrated me because it didn't make any sense. And it's because there were skills that were nerfed that I'd forgotten about, that I was trying to use, and that's why I was getting my ass kicked in places that I totally shouldn't have gotten my ass kicked in, and I was really frustrated. And then I figured it out and fixed it right at the end, and then kind of rage quit. But today is a new day. We are in Nightmare. We fixed the things. We're going to be using Shockwave. We've retired Fred the plant because that thing sucks, and things are running very smoothly. Quite nice. Yes, I am. Later. Do you have? Oh, you don't have. Well. Yeah, I'm gonna play this for probably, I don't know. At some point I'm gonna find a stopping point, and then I will stop. And then I'm gonna take a break for like a couple hours, and then we'll play Blood Bowl. I usually like to start Blood Bowl around 9 or 10 o'clock my time, which is which is 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific. So I'm probably gonna play this for like a couple hours still or whatever, and then I'll take a break for probably like 2 or 3 hours, and then I will start a new stream for Blood Bowl. I just wanted to get some of this ladder season screen.
Charms.
Everybody's asleep though. I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Greetings. Your rewards are well earned.
Hello.
What was I talking about when you showed up? I don't remember. Jesus? Did your player die in Blood Bowl 2 because he failed to dodge? I don't know. I don't think your player died. Did your player die? I don't remember. Oh, in your game. Well, because that's Blood Bowl. Because when you dodge, if you fail, you fall. And every time you fall, you have to roll for armor to see if you break the armor. And if you do break the armor, you roll for injury, and the injury could be death. Sorry. I hate when that shit happens. It's like raging defense. You like the Gizwap team? What do you like about it, the bear? I just turned into a bear. I have a bear, and I turned into a bear. Because I get way more life and defense when I'm a bear. And as a druid summoner, you can actually summon things as a bear. Which is something that got changed, actually, because you used to not be able to do that. Or maybe you could. Actually, I think you could, now that I'm thinking. You just can't cast spells with your bear. I like that it's difficult because no one has block. Yeah, and everybody has leaf, but the problem is none of them are agility 4. And agility 3 leaf is dumb. Because, and they all come with it, so it feels like a wasted skill. That's why I don't like the team. I do like the bear. I like that you get a bear. It's kind of cool. That's it. That's the only reason why I like the reasoning factor for me on that team is the bear. I tried to play it once and it was fucking awful. It's like if you're up for a challenge, it's good to play, sure. But like for what I was doing, it was bad because when I'm playing Blood Bowl, as you know, I'm trying to play it more as a group thing, right? So everybody gets to kind of sort of like have fun by way of their character doing things, which is pretty fun. If I'm playing it just for myself, I'll play tough teams just to see if I can do them. And I totally respect that grind. Yeah. Norse is good until they get hurt, and then they suck because they don't have any armor. They have armor 7, and like they're pretty dashy with the block. But then what happens is once they get hit, they snap like grapes, and they get wrecked, man. And they're expensive, so you end up losing players really fast, and you can't replace them fast enough. But otherwise, they're pretty cool, and they also have a Yeti, so that's kind of cool. And their Earth Runners are pretty dope. The Strength 4 Frenzy guys, those are pretty sweet. I don't know. Probably new people. The problem with the human team is they're not great at anything. They're good. They're okay. They're like they're like pretty okay at everything, but they're not great at anything. And so every team that you play against usually has an advantage over you. So the human team's problem is they never get to play to their strengths because they don't have them. All they can do is capitalize on the other team's weakness, which is a good way to play, but it's not as good as playing your strengths because, you know, like I said, they don't have any. You get an ogre, that's kind of cool, but the ogre has bonehead. That kind of sucks, you know. I'm learning with chaos. Yeah, chaos is a good team though, because the horns is a huge thing. You know, turning your goatmen into 4+ blitzers is or 4 strength 4 blitzers is pretty dope. And then the Minotaur is pretty crazy. Except the Minotaur's problem is that it has wild animal, and I actually don't like wild animal. Because while you get to retain your tackle zone, it's a lot easier to fail. So you just stand there all the fucking time and don't do shit, and you end up like, oh, I'm gonna blitz with the Minotaur, and then like you fail, and then you burn the blitz, and your guy's just standing there, and now you can't do anything. You burn the blitz trying to blitz with the guy who's supposed to be really good at blitzing, because he can't, because he failed his stupid wild animal rule. The mutations are nice. Nurgle used to be way better than it is, by the way. The original Nurgle team, the Rotters were actually the Nurgle warriors. The Rotters were strength 4, movement 4, and they didn't have decay, but they had disturbing presence. And I think they regenerated. And then you had Beastmen. And the Beast of Nurgle. That was the old Nurgle team. And then they added like all these other weird Nurgle things that made it worse. They added decay to everything where you take double hits and all kinds of dumb shit. You take double injuries. The original Nurgle team was badass. Maybe they thought it was too overpowered or something. Oh, so now we have our shockwave skill. We're gonna put that at F5. That'll be F6. That'll be F7. No, that'll be F7. That'll be F7. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, shockwave lets us stun monsters.
Charcy will be thankful to get this malice.
Nurgle was broken back then. Nurgle was great, dude. I loved it. You know what team was broken way back was the Undead team. Because
the force of nature.
The old Undead team, you could have 4 mummies and 4 whites. That shit was crazy. But the vampire team has always sucked. Just throwing that out as a side note. The vampire team was never good. Because Bloodlust is just way too penalizing. Fuck are we going? You have to go? Alright, see you later. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you. Am I gonna see you later for Blood Bowl or what?
I can't.
Well, anyway. What are we playing Blood Bowl with? There we go. Now, using the shockwave is a much more accurate playstyle.
I can't carry.
But it works. Oh, I forgot to do the belt. I said I was gonna get a belt. I forgot. We'll do all that once we get to the next waypoint, which is like a level scoop. Ah. I need to get some plus skill gear so my transformation into the bear stays longer. Because I don't want to put any more points into it. Because we're going to need those points to buff up the rest of the army. We also need to put a point into... we'll put our next point into that. Into the part of the Wolverine spirit. Because at some point we're going to need to do more damage. And that's going to help a lot. Even though it dies pretty fast. It does help. Probably get our look at figuring out some armor for our merc. Probably treachery at first, which is... Does that need a lumber in? You can put lumber in. And then also the bulwark helmet, you need a 3-socket helmet. Bulwark is really good helmet for a merc until you get like Tal's or Andy's Visage. Or Vamp Gaze. And the reason is because it gives you it gives him a lot of life to keep him alive. Because without it, once you start getting to a point, they're just going to die a lot. Even though because he's gonna, right now he's still alive because he's running meditation, or he's running prayer and has meditation from insight. But at some point, that's going to switch to like hustle or something, and also the prayer ore is going to go away because it's going to be a might ore as soon as we get to Act 2, and then he's going to need more life to sustain. Well, should be over here somewhere. I'm going to go. I probably passed it. I always pass this one up for some reason. It's never where I think it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be down here somewhere, but then it ends up being like all the way back up to the front or some shit. The exit that I'm looking for. Let's see here.
Impossible.
See, the problem is when I use shockwave, I don't mind my birds as much as I should. Because the birds are actually really powerful. They got a huge buff. But they only get so many hits and then they're done. Because I haven't put a lot of points into them yet. I put just as many points as needed to make the 5 birds, and I'm putting the points into the other stuff first. The grizzly bear is the best thing to put points into once I get all my bullshit out of the way. And then probably the spirit wolves, because they do cold damage, and I'm going to need an alternative source of damage at some point. And so having those do a lot of cold damage is better than not doing any cold damage. Because if something's immune to physical, then you need, another form of damage. Hence the cold damage. Hey, there it is. Look at that. Alright, so before we go in there, we need to work on belt, right? And something else. What was the other thing?
Hi there. Oh, thank you.
Good to see you.
Greetings.
Well, that sucks now. I need a better helmet too. Don't get the gamble wolf helms though. There was actually a bug a long time ago in Nightmare Act 2. You could gamble spirit pelts, whatever the fuck they were called. The spirit helmets, the ones with the wolf look. It didn't last very long. But I remember being able to do that. And I was stoked. I was like, yes, we can gamble these. And then they're like, it was like right after some patch that they fucked up. But they purposely made it so you can't gamble any class specific things. Except oh yeah, and because the Warlock was introduced, you can't gamble daggers anymore. Which sucks because everybody used to gamble gold daggers because I mean, that's crazy magic find, and they were real easy to gamble. But now you can't, because daggers are Warlock class specific items. They have the Warlock skills on them, and then they also have the book, but you can't gamble the book. I'm gonna put these fucking things away. I'm gonna eat this whole box. All right. I need a belt. How much money do I have? I mean, this one's okay, but I'd like to see if maybe we get a little luckier. Bro, I mean, the life is nice, but, you know, werebear form, I don't have to worry about life anymore. Should probably gamble war traps too. Yeah, right. We'll just gamble those. Alright, I think I'm good with this for now. Eventually this is gonna have to be 156.
Good day.
So now we have the extra slot. It was driving me nuts. I didn't have the slot. I'm like, why am I not doing that? Look at that. It kind of sucks. Dude, what the fuck, man? I mean, that's good resist, but it doesn't have any walk run. Not burn too much money. We're gonna have to resurrect our guy a couple of times. There we go. A little walk run. I'm losing fire res. I'm gaining cold res, and I'm getting some magic find. A little less walk run. I mean, that's decent. How bad is it? It's not too bad, and we can always put these back on if it's horrible. I like the magic fiends helping. Those are like decent resist beats. They're just not. It's just because I haven't found like shit yet. Just getting dog shit. Alright. So, okay. I think I have to do F5 that and F6 shockwave. So that I can go F5, F6. Wait, what? Waypoint. Can you not stun supersonics anymore? Did Shockwave getting her? Rough. It might have. I remember that if you put a lot of points into it, you could shockwave things for like 15 seconds. You like stun them for like a long time. It's like a stupid amount of time. Like you could shockwave something and then like go make a damage and come back and it's crazy. It's pretty close. If you were really quick at making things.
I can't.
Where you going, Bone Ash? Motherfucker. He's running away from me. You didn't want the awesome power of the bear smashing him in the face.
Sense it. The supernatural is strong here.
So here's something that I was thinking about, and it's probably like busted and probably some FOMO and whatever. The Necro Summoner, now that the Warlock Summoner is way fucking better, the Necro Summoner kind of sucks. That kind of pisses me off because it was like the coolest character in the game for a long time. Not the best character, but it's just cool. But now it's like it feels bad to play it because of just how good the Warlock is at summoning shit.
I can't carry anymore.
And I was thinking, well, how can we help the Necro Summoner? The reason is because the Warlock gets the ability to bind a demon. It has to specifically be a demon, though. You can't use an animal, you can't bind undead, which leads me to an interesting thing that I was thinking about. Yes, we have the ability to raise the dead. What the hell's the name of that skill? The fucking, there's a thing where you can, why am I having a brain for it? I don't know. But there's a skill where you can like raise a bunch of zombies or whatever. Any monster you can raise for temporarily. I'm completely dumbfounded why I can't remember that fucking skill name. It's like I know this stuff like at the back of my hand. It's just that I'm blind by my fucking brain fartedness. This is so stupid. It's I'm gonna remember this the moment, like, it's that one.
Not even death can save
Hey,
you
what's
from
up?
me.
Revive. So my idea is that I just got distracted by Twitter too. So the idea is that because the Warlock gets to summon a demon, and only a demon, but like that's really powerful as part of its whole repertoire of things that it can do. Like summoning a demon is massive because you know you get Lister the Tormentor to run with you, and so it fucks the Necro up because the Necro doesn't get that. But the Necro gets revived, but revive only lasts for like a minute or like I think it's 2 minutes max. And you can do those, but those are just normal dead monsters that come up, and they're not nearly as cool as a bound demon by any stretch of the imagination. But my idea was that we could substitute another shitty skill that the Necromancer has for binding an undead monster. Instead of binding a demon, the Necro could have like a bind skill as well, so he can at least compete with the Summoner Warlock. Because the Necromancer should be the best summoner in the game. It's literally what the Necromancer does. Like, you can do other things on the Necromancer, but honestly, like, when you think of Necromancer, you think of, like, summoning the undead shit. That's what they do. The Necromancers in Path of Exile do that. The Necromancers in Diablo, the other Necromancers do that. They all summon undead stuff, and they want the dead. So you should be able to bind, like, an undead super unique monster, just like the Warlock can, with the demon, but it has to be an undead one. And then what I would trade for that would be something like, I don't know, lower resistance. Like maybe, this is gonna piss people off, but maybe the Fire Golem. Because, now, the reason you don't want to get rid of the Fire Golem is because for 20 fucking years we've all had hopium that they would fix the skeletal mages so that they actually worked and didn't just completely blow ass. And if you're going to make a skeletal mage build, you would want a Fire Golem because you're going to use lower resist as your main curse, and everything's going to be magic damage. It's going to be like the the cold, you know, the frost bolt, the flame bolt, and the poison, and the you know, the lightning charge bolt stuff that they do. And when you do that, if like many of us have theory crafted and tried to build skeletal mage builds, and they never work because they just don't do enough damage. But the idea is that you want the fire golem to do that. However, they're never gonna do it. So the fire golem just sits there useless like it always has been. So the idea then is to just get rid of the fire golem and have that be summon undead, or not like summon undead, but like bind an undead monster kind of thing, and then like that would be cool. Then I wouldn't feel so bad about the fact that the Warlock is just a way better summoner than the fucking Necromancer. The game is louder than me? How's that possible? Huh. My meter stuff shows the opposite. So that I've been playing looking at the meter the whole time. I guess I can turn it down a little bit. Is it the music or is it the noises? The noises? So like this stuff? Okay. I wasn't aware of that. I just talked with Odin for like an hour and he didn't say shit. Kinda wish he would have. Monsters. Skills. Monsters and skills. How's that? Is that better or more? Is it doable or should I go lower? Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're up. I'm still gonna play Blood Bowl. I got up about midnight and I was like, because I slept today again. I'm on like complete backward time now. So I slept and then I got up about midnight and then I started playing and I was like, I should stream because I kind of fucked yesterday's stream up. And I wouldn't mind trying to, you know, getting a YouTube video out. So, streaming for a couple hours. And then I'm going to take a break once I'm done with this for a couple hours and then we'll play Blood Bowl today. Because that was like Odin's big concern. He showed up and he's like, Aren't you playing Blood Bowl today? I'm like, yeah, we're playing Blood Bowl. I'm just doing something first. You were going to bed, but you saw me out. Well, that's, I mean, you know, it's all good. I appreciate you stopping it. I redid the character, by the way, so it's much better. The problem was that the skill that I was basing the character on, the Fred Poison Creeper skill, was apparently had been nerfed, and I wasn't aware of that. And so when I was trying to run through the game, and I wasn't using this, what I'm doing now, which is the shockwave and the bear form, which is what I had done like a long time ago when I made this build, and it worked. And I thought I was gonna make the poison creeper thing work, and it didn't. And that's what was making me so mad. Like yesterday was nothing. It didn't work. Like the thing, I was getting frustrated because it, like, there was no reason why it shouldn't work. And I was like getting completely trounced by Diablo. Remember that? It was like the worst Diablo fight ever. And then when I went to fight Baal, it was like not even a chance of beating Baal. And I was like, how is this possible? Like, this thing is supposed to just dominate normal mode. Like, what's going on? And it didn't at all. And then when I figured it out at the end of the stream, I like switched. I respec the character and I dumped the stupid poison creeper, because the problem is I had like a lot of my points were into the poison creeper, which meant all of my animals didn't have a lot of damage because they only had a couple points in them. And so once I dumped the poison creeper and put all the points into the bear and the wolves and shit, then I just fucking beat Diablo's or Baal's ass, like, you know, pretty fast, like I should have. And then I was really frustrated by that. I was like, because I realized I wasted like 4 hours yesterday just trying to make some bullshit work that didn't work, and so I rage quit. After giving a big old thing about the only thing that would make me rage quit was the gloams, right? And then I ended up rage quitting. And then I felt like a dumbass for rage quitting in Diablo 2, because really, like, it's Diablo 2, man. It's not like Path of Exile or something. It's an easy, fun game. And I was just like, I can't believe I rage quit Diablo 2, and I was pissed about that at myself. And I had to go through some shit in my head. And then I took a nap and I laid down and everything, and I feel like way better now, and everything's fixed. We're over it. Yesterday was a weird day, man. Like, a lot of crazy shit was good, and then all of a sudden it got really bad and dark and strange. And now it's fine. Everything's fine. Stupid video games. I did. I kind of betrayed myself, but I really didn't like... Oh, I have to get the waypoint. I didn't, Oh shit, did I not get the waypoint in level 2? You know what? I don't need the waypoint. Oh, famous last words. I kind of did feel betrayed a little bit, because like I didn't realize that skill had been nerfed, first of all. And then also, but it was my fault, because not only did I not like look that up, but I also didn't. I confused like 2 different builds, and I made my thing wrong because I was in my head thinking about like one thing, and I did it wrong. I'm not saying that it was like from what somebody else said. It's just that I've played this game. I know what works and what doesn't work for the most part. And what I was trying to do, I mixed like 2 different things the wrong way, and I forgot about the fact that I usually run this as a bear with shockwave, and that the animals are eating things. And I couldn't figure out why I wasn't able to why I wasn't able to do any slow or stun. It's because I fucking forgot to do it. Like, I was just being dumb, and it was frustrating. And it was more frustrating because I did it online with a whole bunch of, like, you know, not a whole bunch of people, but there was like, you know, we're all hanging out and having a good time, and then like it just kept like hitting this roadblock, and I was getting really mad about it. So Yeah. And you know, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. But at the time it did kind of feel like the end of the world, you know? You know how you get those moments where you're just like, fuck. And then like it got weird. And I, you know, completely like overblew the situation. Because it really wasn't a big deal at all, but it just felt at the time like it was fucked up. So, anyway. I don't like going there. I don't like getting into that headspace. I don't like feeling like toxic and then like rage quitting and like putting it out there because people want to, like, you know, they want to enjoy the vibe, and when the vibe is bad and toxic and mad, then that's not a vibe. That's a fuck you, see you later. You know? Like, I wouldn't want to do that. If I was watching a stream and somebody started getting mad all the time, I'd just be like, whatever, dude. I'll go do something else. I don't need to fucking listen to your pity party. You know? So. Yeah. No, I'm not saying it has to be perfect. And fuck-ups are fine. But, like, there's a point at which it's like, oh, I fucked up, but then, like, you know, you're okay with it. And then there's a point at which, like, that turns into, like, actual being mad. Like, for real being mad. And that's not, I don't like that. You know, that's when it's like time to turn the shit off because that's not. It's okay to be pissed off about something for a second or two and being like, oh fuck, I fucked up, right? But like actually getting physically mad and like very upset about it and, you know, spurting out and shit. I don't like that. Well, I know I'm human. I get that. There's just a point, you know. When I get to the I'm gonna break shit point, like that's when it's time to turn the stream off and fucking go do something else. Well, they're fucking dead anyway. Yeah. They're doing their own shit.
And dark.
Finally, we may rejoice.
I guess I didn't need that waypoint after all.
Yes.
Greetings. Greeting.
Oh, what's this? Compared to the actual toxic, you really aren't as bad as you think. No, I know. I understand that. I mean, I've seen a lot of really toxic shit. But it still fucks with me, right? And my ability to conduct the stream the way that I'm conducting it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm not in the headspace, like everything changes, and then I'm done, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it throws me out of the whole thing, and then I don't want to do it. Even if there's people that are like way more toxic than I am, if I get to that point, I just literally don't want to do it anymore, and that's it. And then I get frustrated about that because I'm trying to get as much screen time as I can, you know. So I know what you're saying, and I appreciate that. So totally.
I don't
Did I get my belt? Yeah, I got my belt. That's what I wanted my belt. My merc needs some armor, dude. I never want to fucking eat them. Although that would be a good summoner name. I wish I would have thought about that. Naming him Einar would have been pretty dope. Well, so in Diablo, yeah, it's time for merc armor. It's time for the game to drop me some shit, is what it is. There's really no crafting in the game outside of rune words, and rune words only go in bases that have specific sockets, like amount of sockets in them. They have to be white bases. They can't be magic. And they have to be socketed with a certain number of sockets, and you do not have the ability to add sockets. There is one way to re-roll sockets, only once, and there is a quest that you can get once per difficulty level where the dude will socket your item with sockets with like a 75% chance to be the max number of sockets that it can receive, and then like other percent chances of it being less than maximum sockets. So the best way to find socketed items, like for example this sword is a socketed item probably. No, it's ethereal. So socketed items show up like that, but so do ethereal items. So this is probably socketed. See, that's a socketed item, but it only has one socket. And there's no rune word that uses one socket, so that's useless. So while you're playing the game, you need to look for items that are kind of the base type that you want. Like, I need armor, and I need a certain amount of sockets in it. And if you find it, you pick it up, and then you need to farm the rune words to make the thing that you want. Which is like what this is. So this insight rune word, I found a 4-socketed poleaxe because that's what it requires, and then you put the 4 sockets in it and it creates insight, and now he's got a really good pole arm. right? And I have like a 2-socketed armor called Stealth. It's like kind of a shitty armor. It's like a low, like in normal mode. This is a very standard normal mode rune word, because the runes are very easy to find, and 2-socketed armor is pretty easy to find. And then this one is pretty good. This is one of the best rune words in the game for most characters as a starter weapon, because it gives you +2 to all skills. And skills in this game, plus to skills, are like the most important stat on most characters. So +2 to skills, and it gives me 22 to vitality, which is a lot of life, and it gives me mana, which is a lot of mana. And that's because I found a 4-socketed crystal. Actually, I had to make the 4-socketed crystal sword. Because in normal mode, you can't find 4-socketed weapons. You can only find them in nightmare mode. So, but you need to get that spirit. You can make the spirit and use it when you're in normal mode if you can find it outside of normal mode, which becomes the conundrum, right? So then what you do, and this is what I was trying to do yesterday, and that's why I was getting frustrated, is I had to beat Baal so that I could do cows. Because in normal mode cows, you can't do cows until you beat Baal, right? That's when you're allowed to, then you can start doing cow runs in normal mode. You have to beat the final boss in each mode in order to do the cows in that mode. So in cows, you can't find a 4-socketed crystal sword, but what you can do is you can find a base crystal sword, and if it drops in cows, the eye level is high enough so that when you take it to the quest to get the maximum number of sockets, it will actually give you 4 sockets. But it cannot drop anywhere in normal mode, including cows, as a 4-socket item. So that's what we had to do. We had to farm cows to get the base item crystal sword so that I could take it to Larsic, who then put 4 holes in it so that I can make the spirit rune word. And then that helps going into nightmare tremendously, because now we're in nightmare mode. Now 4-socketed things can drop in nightmare, but if you don't have enough gear to help get you through nightmare, by the time you get to nightmare, it's a fucking nightmare. So, you know. So that's why it's good to do that shit, like, at the end of normal mode. And then the same thing in hell mode, basically. Because like you get better drops in nightmare, and you get better drops in hell. Like, you know, you get better, you get the top end unique items in hell, but you can get some of them in nightmare, and you get some of them in normal mode. It depends on what you're looking for, right? So you know, it's all crazy. It's an item farming down here, and you get your gear and you do the things. And now there's endgame stuff to do. They added another endgame thing with the Warlock patch. They added uber ancient pinnacle boss. And there's like terror zones. You have to farm terror zones to get the things to open that, and we have to do all that. So all that happens after hell mode, basically. Up my inventory spot. I like pick up potions as a habit, because when you don't have them, you need them. But then I end up like filling up my whole inventory full of potions that I don't need. Oh, and now that we're in Act 2, we have to change our merc. We can get our might merc. Do that. As soon as we kill Radamant, we'll do that, and we can pick out a good one. Maybe we'll get a couple different names. The might merc is like the best merc for this situation, but you can't get it until Nightmare Act 2. So in normal Act 2, the merc that we picked was the prayer merc, where he basically grants us an aura that lets everything regenerate their life pretty substantially. So it's kind of a trade-off. You're trading off the health of the monsters for a lot more damage, but you have to, because at the end of the day, like, if you can't do enough damage, it doesn't matter how long you stay alive. You can't kill shit because monsters regenerate life. So ZDPS builds don't really work in Diablo 2 very well for that reason. Damage is defense. And the fact that your defense doesn't work anyway if you're on run mode, and everybody plays on run mode. This is run mode, and if I go to walk mode, this is walk mode. It's really fucking slow. Now your defenses work 100% on walk mode, but on run mode they don't work at all, and your block is cut by 1/3. And everybody runs on run mode because armor isn't really that good in Diablo anyway. So you try to get your resists as high as you can, and you do enough damage that you don't sustain enough, like a lot of damage from the thing that's hitting you, and you put everything into vitality that you don't need for strength, so that you have a big life pool, and you can survive a lot of shit. And then you only need strength in most cases, unless you're a barbarian or something. You only need strength to allow you to wear like the gear requirements, just to wear whatever gear you want, because most gear has a strength requirement. So the way you play when you're building is you go enough strength for gear, everything else in the way. There are rare exceptions where you want dexterity, such as the Warlock, who uses daggers, and those require dexterity to use. So you need a minimum amount of dexterity into your daggers so you can use the Warlock daggers that have the bonuses on them. And you almost never put any points into energy at all, which is mana. Because at some point, like, you start out running out of mana, but you have mana potions that you can spam all the time. And at some point, you stop running out of mana, because you're either a melee build that has mana reach, or a castle, or a missile, like a bow build or a javelin build that has mana reach. Or you're a caster that has enough mana regeneration on most gear has enough mana regeneration to sustain you, unless you're a sorceress. If you're a sorceress, you don't need to put points into energy, because you get a skill called Warmth that dramatically increases your mana regeneration, and every time you get a piece of plus skill gear, it increases that warmth skill because it is a skill. And you get enough mana sustain from having the warmth skill and your regular plus skills. And you also probably have either Mage Fist or Frostburn Gauntlets, which also increase, Mage Fist increases the amount of mana that you have. No, Mage Fist increases the regeneration rate of your mana by a significant amount. And Frostburns increases the amount of mana you have by 40%, which is pretty fucking huge. So between those, you don't need any points into energy, regardless of what class you play.
They say.
Some people do put a couple points at first just to get them through the beginning of the game, and then later they'll respec out of it because you just don't need it. And all points going toward life is best, because life is the best defense. So, and this is why I'm actually playing the Bear Druid. Well, I'm playing the shapeshift, the Summon Druid, but I'm playing with the Bear specifically, not just for Shockwave, but also because if you look, my life is 335, but if I shift into Bear form, it's 640. And if I go outside, because of the spirit that I have floating around, it ends up being close to 800. Because the bear gets a lot of life bonuses and some defense. And if I wanted to, I could turn into a werewolf, but he doesn't get as much life. Now, you might figure something out after seeing PoE 2 recently with the new Druid update. Well, this is a Diablo 2 Druid, and the Diablo 2 Druid has been this way since 2002. And the Path of Exile 2 created a Druid, like the last patch, and the Druid in PoE 2 can turn into a werebear and a werewolf, and also a dragon. But still, it's just like, it's so funny. I mean, you know, we knew that was gonna happen. That's what they do. That's the whole point of the game. But it's still funny when they do shit like that. That's like blatantly obvious. So, anyway, I have skills to spend. We need 1 point into this, but I don't want to do it yet, so I'm not going to use it yet. But I probably should soon. And we have to go get a merc, that's right. I think I'm going bar. We're going to finish maxing bar. Because he's also a tanky. Right? You're falling. All right. Peace out. You're not gonna help me pick my my mercenary name? All right. Have fun. Get some sleep. I'll see you at Blood Bowl.
I bet you won.
Let's see. We can pick Fazil or Wahid or Vikyat. Those are might mercs. I think we're gonna pick Wahid because Wahid is like one of the original merc names. Although Fazelle is also one of them. Cold Merc would be fun though, but it just doesn't work. One of these days I'm gonna build a build with a Cold Merc. They're so good. Anyway. Let's take Wahid. Then we give Wahid insight.
I'll put that to good
So
use.
now Wahid gets the meditation aura from the weapon, and then he also gets the might aura from being a might merc. And right now he's using some bullshit because we don't have the things necessary to make him not use the bullshit. We do need a 3-socketed helmet. We have to keep our eye out for a 3-socketed helmet. And we need a new fucking spirit mask because that's dog shit. All right. I'm going to take a super quick break and I will be back in just a second.
Firmly in position. For maximum results, tilt the face of the heater towards the windshield and sit back and enjoy the show in healthful comfort. With these modern, safe, efficient in-car heaters, this drive-in theater will now remain open all year round. If you have any further questions about your Burns-O-Matic in-car heater, please contact one of our theater attendants. And remember, this drive-in theater will now remain open all year round, regardless of the weather.
Hello there. Give a demonstration of my new invention, the Goodies Machine. Special for patrons of this drive-in, the machine turns out delicious hot doggies one after the other. And thirst-quenching sodas also. Gives popcorn of the most tasty kind, plain unbuttered. Candy too, crunchy and dandy. Steaming hot coffee and ice cream too. These goodies are at a snack bar just waiting for you.
It's 6 minutes till showtime.
And we're back.
Not here.
Have you all been good little boys and girls? Too fucking bad. All right. Didn't I just do churches? Maybe. Okay. Alright, let's get our ass to the far oasis. We do need to keep an eye out for some things, but in general, I just kind of want to blaze through this shit, because the faster we can get to, like, Lower Karas, the better, because we're actually, I know you think what I want to do about Mephisto runes. Yes, Mephisto runes are nice too, but, something a lot of people don't know is that Nightmare Lower Karas is one of the best places to farm skillers. And if you don't know what a skiller is a skill charm, which you can probably guess by the name is a good thing. Skill charms are charms that give you +1 skills, and the best place to farm them is Nightmare Karas. Now, any charm you get out of Nightmare Karas, even if it isn't a skill, you want to stash in a separate area so that you don't confuse it with any other charm, because you can roll it, you can re-roll it with perfect gems, and you could land, you know, you can land a plus skill charm. But you have a greater chance of landing the plus skill charm on charms found in Lower Karas in Nightmare because of the item level that they are. And in this game, it doesn't tell you what the item level of the thing is. You have to look it up based on where it dropped. And so if you stick it in with other shit, like, you'll never know which one it is, and then you'll end up wasting your time. The reason why it's the best item level to roll skillers is because it is the lowest item level required to get plus skills on a charm. And the reason why that is better than a higher level skill is because higher level skill charms also have a chance to roll higher mods. And you don't want necessarily, if you're trying to target roll for skills, you want the least amount of friction, right? So if you have a bigger mod pool, you have less of a chance of getting the thing you want. So if you're doing it with skillers, and you want to get +1 skills, then you want to, that's why you want to get them from there. And I've already demonstrated it before, I think on one of my other streams about the Warlock. I showed it, that I put up recently, on the YouTubes. It's in there somewhere, in one of the places, where we were, before the league started, we were messing with the Warlock a bit, and one of the places I farmed was Lower Karas, and I showed, and we actually happened to drop a skiller there. Like, it was like a bar of masteries or something. And then also, then took another charm there that was like some resist charm or something. And then we were able to roll that after a couple of tries into a skiller. So, you know, has been demonstrated. Does work. A lot of people don't know that, though. There's a lot of things a lot of people don't know. The other thing that I think people are learning now, it was a really big secret for a long time, and then people started, like, eventually, like everything, things don't stay secret too long. Eventually, once they're out, they're out. And that secret was that Lower Karas was the best place to farm high runes up to... Sir? Bear. I think up to Bear. Dear Sir Bear, I don't remember. Now that's in Hell mode though. So I don't want to confuse that with what I said about Skillers is in Nightmare. And anyway, so we're gonna farm that. Because, not only for the Skillers, but also because, like, you can get some pretty good runes there anyway, just because it's Lower Karas. Leading to why that Hell mode Lower Karas is the best place to farm runes. is the same reason that it's good to just farm Nightmare lower cross for like, you know, mid-range. And it's because runes often fall from things like chests and things that are like, you know, baskets and like ghosts and crap like that. Things that aren't affected by Magic Find necessarily. Well, runes aren't affected by Magic Find. So, anyway, because Lower Karast has like a ton of containers, that's right. There's probably like, I don't know, 80 containers in Lower Karast on average, and some of them are super containers, like super chests. The bigger streamers like Mr. Llama, etc., will only, they will in single player mode, they will farm a map until they get a Lower Karast map that has 3 super chests on it, and then they will, you know, run just that map over and over and over again, and only hit the super chests and then leave, because it's probably more efficient. The way that they play, it's more efficient to just farm those. But if you're an average Joe and you aren't on crack, you're probably just gonna farm. If you farm it, then you're farming at a normal speed. Go ahead and hit all the things. Open up all the chests and all the, because you're gonna find it. You're gonna find that you're gonna be surprised how many runes you find in there, even if they're not high runes. And in a Nightmare, it's fine too, because you know you'll find medium and low runes there all the time. And you could find up to Ohm, I think, in Nightmare, which is still pretty dope. Solid fucking rune. I think that's the first of the high runes, right? Or at least at one time, Ohm was considered a high rune. I don't know if it still is. I think Ohm and Vexed and Isk are the ones that you want out of there. In Nightmare. And then in Hell mode, you can farm either up to Sur or Bear. I got a Sur rune the other day out of it. Whoa, that's pretty cool. I also got a Shake It. Which is from one of the armor racks. Drop I didn't expect it at all. I was like, whoa, look at that. Yeah, that was fun. So anyway, that's why we're gonna, even though I said we're gonna make a beeline there, and I'm not, because again, what happens is when I ramble, I end up wandering. I'm trying to get the separation of rambling and progressing instead of rambling and wandering. Baby steps, right?
Impossible.
Once we get our bear done, I think we're gonna pump the raven because I need more pecks out of them because they die too fast. They're not buff enough to get a lot of pecks, and I keep having to switch to ravens to spawn more ravens. Shifted out of bear. I'm gonna have to do this. I have to find a comfortable. I think F6 and F5 is gonna have to be shot.
I can't carry it.
I was trying to find a comfortable key mapping for it, and I keep unintentionally unsummoning myself out of bear form. Like I just did. The lazier version of this build is to ignore the werebear part. However, the werebear part helps a lot, especially in the humble. And also, shockwave is pretty good at keeping your guys alive and keeping you from getting hurt because it stuns so many things. Now we need to find the oasis. Midnight at the oasis. Put your camel to bed. Why aren't there any camels in here? There should be a camel monster. I know that camels exist because the cinematic has Marius pulling a camel who ends up dying on the way to loot the link. And then he ends up kicking a camel and he's dead. But he leaves his pack on the camel. I don't understand that. If you watch the cinematic, he's riding the camel. No, he's pulling. I think he's riding the camel at first, and then he ends up pulling the camel because the camel doesn't want to go any further. And then the camel ends up dying, and then he kicks the camel. And then he leaves his pack on the fucking camel. What the hell, dude? Pretty funny. Next time you play and you go to Act 2, watch the fucking cinematic and look for Marius and this little camel stuff. It's quite humorous. It's a great cinematic. It still holds up, man. It's like fucking 20 years ago. It still holds up. It's so good. point carrying these. So we just had okay. So where's the goddamn thing? It must be down here. Stupid maggot layer. Summoner's worst nightmare. It's even worse probably with the Summoner Druid because at least the Necromancer has Corpse Explosion. To clear out the tunnels of the maggot layer. Because everything gets stuck in there. And it's like they line up single file and then one thing ends up eating. But we do have the bear. And we so the benefit we have is that we can summon the bear behind the enemy lines to eat it. And he doesn't eat a corpse. So maybe there's a slight nod to the Summoner Druid versus the Necromancer in that particular where is the fucking, speaking of the maggot layer, where the fuck is it? There it is. Bonk. So let's put our bear in there. And just let the bear eat him. And the bird. It's not great. It's not horrible. You get stuck on these little worms. Alright. by step. One by one. We're getting there. That spirit's getting annoying and keeps dying faster than I fucking knows it. Holy hell, dude. See what I'm saying about it? It's being painful. But it's still better than the necro. Ah! No! I'm stuck. Fuck off. Don't die here. Please, for the love of God, don't fucking die here. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I got trapped.
Good day.
Do not want to be dead in there without a portal.
Good day.
We're fine now. It's just that it was like, that was pretty close. And I don't want to die there and then have to fish my body out of a bunch of fucking bugs. You know? That would have sucked. Alright. There's only level 1 still? Jesus Christ, dude. I hate the maggot. I hate the maggot layer more than any level in the entire fucking game. It's not even fun. Get through it. Go. Probably not bad if you're like a whirlwind barbarian or some shit. But you get stuck all the time. Because everything's just like, there's enough room for like one thing. If it was just a little bit wider, it would be way less more annoying. Or way more less annoying. What I'm trying to say. It would be way less annoying. Hey, at least you leveled. Bar is up to 14 base. Killing me.
I am overburdened.
Please through the way. Yay. Alright. Now this one has a bit of a pattern to it, usually. Not always. It's always going to be the final boss guy room is always going to be directly this direction. And it's going to be the closest east that you can go north. So it's probably right over here. Ah! The fuck? That was close. The Grim Reaper. We actually need Reaper's Toll. you know, we need a lot of things. And we're not going to get them in Nightmare. So Reaper's Toll is good for the Merc because it casts Decrepify on proc. And so if the Merc is procking Decrepify, that lowers its lower resistance and slow. It's basically weakness. It's a mix between weakness, amp damage, and slow. But it doesn't amplify damage as much as the amp damage does. However, the other things make it phenomenal. And it's a decent trade-off. And it does pretty good damage. And the reason why that's important is because that's the only source of curse the bear gets. And it's significant. That's a huge amount of curse. What? Hitting the wrong fucking button because I'm getting confused by all the different fucking keys. I've played this shit for a long time. I have to get like patterned back into it. Why does my spirit keep doing this?
I can't carry him.
Alright. Thank God that's over with. Holy shit.
Thus.
Every summoner deals with that, and then the rest is pretty smooth sailing. But that shit sucks so hard. The Arcane Sanctuary is pretty close too. Because it also has smoke, but it's a little more navigable. So it's not entirely the worst place in Magic. It's just really close. It's not worse than the magazine, but it's a very close second. Let's put it that way. So usually if you follow the edge around, you can find the thing. That's kind of the trick on the mini map. It might be down some steps. Not entirely. In fact, let's take the steps since we've seen them. Might even be away from around here somewhere. Not an ambush. Yep. There's a waypoint. Hopefully, the exit is over here somewhere. Not necessarily. There it is. The Valley of the Snakes. Oh, a Viper Temple. Holy hell, Batman. Some of that voice. Raven. Spirit that keeps on. Trying to find the button. It's like, which one is it? Fine. It says right here it's F5 and I'm not looking at it. I'm so used to this not being here that I don't even look at it. That wasn't the way. Come on. Okay. So. Come on, man. Inferno Strike? Inferno Strike. Now that's, there we go. Yeah, we're gonna run those. They don't have as much MF on them, but like, they're still good. +1 sword. Alrighty, well, I know it's in there somewhere. There we go. Jesus Christ, I didn't think we were gonna get through that. That was making me crazy. Alright. Killed the thing. Okay. Yep. We got the paper amulet. And we go back to town. Do I want to navigate the stupid temple right now? I don't know. I'm thinking about calling it because I do have to stream Blood Bowl later today.
I've been. Hello.
As well. I'm doing double duty.
Hello.
Homie's all like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, we know. Alright, so amulet, staff, Roger staff.
It is an honor to serve you.
I think we're gonna, well, should we let's get to the fucking thing so that I have the waypoint. And then we'll call it at that point. You just gotta go down. And that's a pretty easy run.
When the trouble I have heard of.
There's a trick. I'll show you guys the trick too. Some people run it differently. This is the best. This is the most efficient way to do this I've found in my many years of running this, and it's super simple. Just remember, you go down this far side. Okay, let's go back. Let me show you. Okay, you come in the thing from here. This is where you come in. You go this way. You go to this side. Throw a portal up. Come over here. Skip a room. Once I kill this guy. Okay, skip a room. And then take this one down and then just stay on this wall for all of the levels. Just go straight. That's it. And then when you hit the final level, you'll go all the way to the end and you'll hang a left and you do a U-turn and then you'll be right there. And you don't have to go crisscross anywhere or do any weird shit. It's just this. It's a super quick, easy way to get through this. Level 3, then close the portal in case something happens. You gotta be careful because you could get like sniped. Sometimes there's like snipers and shit. But right, so you go to the end and then you go through here and make your U-turn and it's right. There it is, every time. It's always that way. Always. Never changes. So there you go. Now, the trick to this is that like 50% of the time it's this way. And then like the remaining 50% of the time it's either this way, or this way. But always go north first and then go this way. And then just follow like clockwise. And you shouldn't be going around. Now, I'm not going to do this right now because if I do, it's going to take another fucking half an hour because stupid fucking thing. It's annoying. Because watch. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. We're just going to call it. And then, so that's going to do it for today. Thanks everybody for watching me play video games. If you like what you see, please give me a follow. If you want to support the channel, you can sub on either YouTube or Facebook, actually. Or you leave a like if you're on, not Facebook, on YouTube. YouTube and Twitch. I'm so tired. I'm confusing everything. Anyway, do the things on the thing, and then you can, if you're on Twitch, you can use your Twitch Prime. Or bits or whatever, I don't know. On the YouTubes, I'm not monetized, but subbing will help me get monetized. I really need to get monetized on YouTube at some point. I would like to grow my channel and actually make real build guides and things like that on YouTube. But I have to get like a certain amount, like 500 followers or something. I just don't have that many. So, anyway. And that's it. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Eat plenty of tacos, get plenty of sleep. And I will see you later for Blood Bowl in a couple of hours. And if you're watching this on the YouTubes, then look for a stream a couple hours after watching this. There'll be a I'll probably try to post the Blood Bowl VOD. I don't usually post Blood Bowl VODs, but I was thinking of doing that because when we play Blood Bowl every Sunday, it's an audience participation thing a little bit. Like whenever we make a new team, anybody who's in chat who doesn't have a character gets a character. And if your guy scores any points or gets a skill, you get to pick the skill. You get to pick on team creation. You get to pick what position you want, what the name is, and there's no money for any of that. You don't pay for it. This is all free. This is all just us having fun together on the stream. Because I say that because at one point somebody came into the stream and was like, "Oh no thanks. I don't want to pay for anything." And it's like, no, we're not. It's not like that, because I guess people assume that nothing is free. But on my streams, everything's free usually. I don't run commercials, for example, on my Twitch streams. You will get a what's it called? You'll get the ad for the pre-roll ad. Like, I don't know why, because if you don't monetize your Twitch stream, they force everybody to see pre-roll ads, which sucks. So you're gonna get a pre-roll ad, but you shouldn't get any ads after that when watching my streams on Twitch, because I'm not monetized, because I hate their monetization system, how it works. I rely on the subs on Twitch, and that's it. And you don't have to sub if you don't want to, but like, it helps, you know. And that way, you're not being blackmailed into subbing so you don't get commercials. Because that's the thing I hate. I hate that you have to sub not to get commercials. So I don't run the commercials. It's just that simple. So anyway, enough of all that. I will see you guys later. On Twitch, well, it'll all show up in a minute. But thanks. Peace out. Blood Bowl later.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.